All right, let's dive into one of the most powerful and, frankly, essential tools in any C programmer's toolkit: loops. These are the absolute workhorses that let your programs do things over and over and over again, saving you from writing tons of tedious, repetitive code.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever needed to do something simple, say print hello to the screen, but you had to do it 100 times? How would you even go about that? Well, the first way you might think of, it kind of shows why we need a better solution.
You could, just copy and paste the printf statement 100 times. But as you can see, that is just a mess. It's a huge, inefficient wall of code. And what if you needed to change that message later or do it 1,000 times? Yeah, no, that's just not going to work. Thankfully, C gives us a much, much smarter way. And that smarter way is through what are officially called iteration statements, but what we all just call loops. As programming expert Herbert Schultz points out, loops are designed to run a block of code again and again until some condition you set is finally met. They turn that 100-line disaster into just a few super elegant lines of code.
So here's our game plan. We're going to break down the three main types of loops in C. We'll kick things off with a while loop, then meet its slightly different cousin, the do-while loop, and wrap up with the incredibly common for loop. By the end, you'll know exactly which tool to grab for any job.
First up, the while loop. I always think of this one as a really strict gatekeeper. It's going to check your credentials before it even considers letting you inside.
The logic is literally in the name. The code inside the loop will keep running while a certain condition is true. But the key detail, the thing you have to remember, is where it checks. It's right at the top, right at the beginning, and that has a huge impact on how this loop behaves. And here's what it looks like. You've got the while keyword, and then inside the parentheses, you have your condition. If that condition is true, boom, the code inside the curly braces gets executed. After that, it goes right back to the top and checks the condition all over again. And this brings us to the most important feature of the while loop. Because that gatekeeper checks your credentials first, if the condition is false from the get-go, the code inside the loop will never, ever run. Not even once. The gatekeeper just says, nope, not today, and your program just keeps on going. Okay, next we have the do-while loop. And this one, it has a totally different attitude. This is the do it first, ask for permission later loop. Just look at them side by side. The while loop on the left has the condition right at the top. But look at the do-while loop on the right. You've got the do keyword, then the code block, and the while condition is way down at the bottom. The gatekeeper has moved from the entrance to the exit. And that one simple change makes all the difference. As Schultz puts it so well, the do-while loop always executes its block of code at least one time. Why? Well, because the check doesn't even happen until it's already run through once. So, when is this useful? Well, imagine a program that shows a menu of options and waits for you to pick one. You have to see the menu at least once to even make a choice, right? A do-while loop is absolutely perfect for that. It guarantees the code runs before any condition is ever even considered. All right, now for the one you've probably seen everywhere, the real powerhouse of looping, the for loop. This is the all-in-one, compact tool that so many C programmers reach for first, and for good reason. The beauty of the for loop is that it packs the three key parts of a loop into one clean line. First, you have the initialization, where you set up your counter variable. Second, you have the condition, which is checked before every single loop, just like a while loop. And third, you have the increment, which is what happens to your counter after each pass. And just look at how clean that is. Remember our original problem of printing something 100 times? This one line does it all. It sets x to 1, it runs as long as x is 100 or less, and it adds 1 to x every time. It's concise, it's easy to read, and it's just so efficient. Okay, so we've met the whole family: while, do-while, and for. Now for the big question: how in the world do you decide which one to use? Well, it really just comes down to the problem you're trying to solve. Let's break it down. You grab a while loop when you don't know exactly how many times you need to loop. Like maybe you're waiting for a user to type quit. You use a do-while loop when your code absolutely must run at least once, like our menu example. And you use a for loop when you know exactly how many times you need to run, like counting from 1 to 100. It's the perfect choice for a fixed number of repetitions. And hey, don't just take it from me. The legendary authors of the C programming language, Kernighan and Ritchie, give some great advice here. They say the for loop is often better because it keeps all the control logic, the start, the stop, and the step, all bundled together in one obvious place. It just makes your code easier to understand at a glance.
So here's the real takeaway. A lot of the time, you could probably make any of these loops work, but that's not the point. The goal is to write code that's easy to read and understand, so you should always choose the loop that makes your intention as clear as possible. So now you have the fundamental tools to handle pretty much any repetitive task C can throw at you. But this is just the beginning. It opens the door to even cooler, more powerful ideas. For instance, what happens when you put a loop inside another loop? Now that's where things get really interesting.